What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for NJPW Wrestling Dontaku 2025 review. Breaking down this past Saturday and Sunday's huge shows from Fukuoka, Japan, as we said goodbye to Tetsuya Naito and Bushi, and also said a goodbye to basically Los Ingobernables de Japón. No! But yes, we're here to discuss it as only we can. It is the True Heel Heat flagship True Heel Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. So y'all know the deal who I'm here with. I'm here with the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on THH. It's your boy, J-News. How are you doing?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right. Hello to everybody out there in the internet world and watching us live. Very interesting weekend, to say the least, having to do with New Japan Pro Wrestling and the happenings and the matches and all that jazz. And some things to discuss and some things to break down. And welcome to everybody in the chat. Participation is a good thing. It's a good thing.
We always appreciate the participation from the live chat, and y'all always come through for us. So we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat if you're with us live. If you're watching us on demand, you can let us know in the comments down below what you thought about NJPW's Wrestling Dontaku weekend, night 1 and night 2 from Fuyoku. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel and our New Japan Pro Wrestling coverage, you can do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support, like our good brother Vala. Thank you so much, Vala, for the support, starting us off strong with a super chat donation where he says, "See you, space LIJ, someday, somewhere, and to the ones left behind, you're gonna carry that weight." I was very sad by this. Like, I knew we were saying goodbye to Tetsuya Naito and Bushi, but I just thought like the most logical thing to do was to pass the torch to your Shingos as the veteran, or to Hiromu as the longest member. I didn't know we were going to have to say goodbye to 3 things. We say goodbye to Naito, we say goodbye to Bushi, and we're saying goodbye to Los Inganables de Japón.
Yeah, man, it was that was a little surprising when the realization kind of set in, and I believe it was Bushi who was talking about that directly, how LIJ is no more. And sad isn't the word necessarily, like you said. I felt like it was a perfect moment to pass the torch, but now with when Shingo came out post match after the main event, he said he was a man without a tribe, basically. So it's interesting. We'll see how it all breaks down. Hopefully they don't heal off the remaining members of the faction, to be quite honest. And we'll see how it all comes about in the next couple of weeks. Especially with we'll get into it, but yeah, it was definitely something that I wasn't expecting for them to dissolve LIJ.
Yeah, because it's still a merch mover for them. So it is a strange decision, or maybe Naito owns the rights to it. I don't know, but yeah, that was like the most shocking of the goodbyes that we had to say this past weekend. We got a bunch of comments already in the chat as well. Thanks again to Vala for the super chat donation. But we also got our boy Jeremy Orr in the chat saying, "Hey everyone, thank you, Jeremy. Want to tell you again, I told you in the comments when you commented on our preview, asking us we're going to do the review. And whenever you got a question about content, you're never bothering us, sir. Feel free to ask us any questions if we're doing stuff. I only gave you a hard time because you made me do the TNA Rebellion review, which I really didn't want to do. But I always want to talk about the New Japan Pro Wrestling shows. So I never care if you ask if we're doing a review on that. He also asks, what do you think happens with the War Dogs and the United Empire? Well, the War Dogs is keeping on because J-News over here was wrong. He was wrong.
Thankfully, I was thankfully wrong about that.
He's never been so happy to be wrong in his life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What I didn't, yet again, we'll get into it when we get to the match. But what I didn't think, what I didn't think was going to come from the match was another singles match. But we'll get into that. I just figured this was going to be over, but it's really not over.
So, some wars never over after the battle. It's never over.
So we'll see how that all breaks down. And yeah, man, some realignment, some reshuffling going to be happening. And with the Best of Super Juniors tour coming up probably, some stuff will start to evolve and things of that nature, but we shall see. We shall see.
We also got Blood Money in the chat. Good to see you, sir. He says LIJ and UE need new members down the line. Well, UE does, but LIJ, it seems like it's all over but the crying. And he also says Gabe Kid is going to win the global title next month, so Tsuji can win the G1 Climax 35. I mean, was I on point with both of my calls for those top 2 matches on night 2, or what, J-News? Because I literally called both of them. I called the results and I called who was challenging next to a T.
Yeah, man. It made it played out, and like we've stated before, and we'll continue to state, sometimes in a world as dark as ours, Gato watches our show. And he writes in the same thing. He writes in the things that work the best. So,
we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Gato. Even though I did switch up, because I like to sometimes when we do final predictions on True Hill Heat, I like to switch up my picks a little bit. So I did take your pick of Uemura to beat Tsuji.
I figured they would run with that. But hey, whatever works at this point, they're trusting. If it looks like the trust is in Gabe, I have no problem with that. At the end of the day, and they'll walk it forward from there. But it also seems SP3 that we have a new member of the younger generation coming into the fold after the events of this weekend. So we'll talk about it when we get to that particular match.
Blood Money acting also. Have you guys watched Mayu Iwatani's Marigold debut? I actually did before I went live on In the Weeds. I went on my way to watch that. Absolutely superb matchup. There's no place that I like to watch pro wrestling quite like Kurgan Hall. Kurgan Hall is like my favorite place to watch pro wrestling, because you know what you're gonna get from the big Kurgan Hall main event. You know you're gonna see some crowd brawling. You know you're gonna hear those loud ass fans, and you know there's gonna be so much drama down the stretch. And this matchup with Nane Takahashi was absolutely tremendous. They went all out. This was Mayu back to back with like certified 2 of the best women's matches of the year. The one with Shuri at All-Star Grand Queendom, and the one here against Takahashi from Marigold.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of that. I was stuck in the reality where Mayu left Stardom, and it felt kind of abrupt at the end of the day.
It shouldn't have. She's been saying this. It's been pretty much the writing's been on the wall for a year.
I get it. Rossi's her pseudo dad and all that jazz. I've just never been able to connect to Marigold per se. I consume more Tokyo Joshi Pro content than I do Marigold content. So and even Sendai Girls comes more into my periphery than Marigold does. So they haven't necessarily peaked for me specifically as of yet. But we shall see how everything goes for Mayu. I know Mayu wants to be able to have some matches with specific talent that is currently contracted to WWE. She specifically stated, talking about Io and Kyrie and things of that nature. So hopefully that comes to fruition for her. Be it that Marigold does have that partnership with the WWE, and outside of that, I have had a hard time getting interested in the Marigold product, to be quite honest.
That's fair. Like my Marigold viewing, really, I viewed their July show last year that had Io and Utami, one of the best matches of last year, and the Sarai versus Julia matchup, which was also one of the best women's matches of last year. And I haven't tapped in. Like Stardom, I'm definitely more tapped in with Stardom. Like I'll watch a show or watch a few matches every month pretty much. CJPW for their like big shows. I still have to go back and watch their what was it, Grand Princess earlier this year. I'm still gonna go out my way to watch that one because I've seen that there was a couple of good matches on that show. But yeah, Margold, now that Mayu's there, I will be watching a little bit more. And like, I know there's people that's like, oh, she's using that to get the WWE. No, she's not. Y'all don't know Mayu Iwatani if y'all are saying that. She's going there to build Marigold into one of the top Joshi promotions. So is she gonna be able to do it? I don't know, but she's definitely gonna go all out in doing it. Because like Balab said here in the chat, he said Mayu did everything in that match too, like really letting you know who she is. And she plans to train talent. She wants to win every title in the promotion. She's really going there to build that promotion for Rossi. So more power to her. I wish that she could have stayed longer or stayed with Stardom, but this is the writing's been on the wall for a year, so I kind of knew this was going to happen.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And a bunch of other comments. Yeah, Balab also saying about the LIJ goodbye, saying the realization didn't set into me until they came back out for Tsuji. Yes, definitely. That was like, oh shit, we're disbanding. What? Why? Like I was like, why? Huh? Here we are. All right, but let's get into it. J-News. We got 2 shows to get through. We're gonna start off with this past Saturday, May 3rd, Wrestling Dontaku, day 1. What's your overall thoughts on the weekend, the 2 pair of shows from Dontaku, and then specifically Saturday? So start with overall.
Overall, just for the feel of everything, right? And how things seem to be moving in a direction. I thought that the overall weekend left me with a positive. I didn't come out with anything negative from the weekend. I probably could have done without a couple of tag matches, but that's my own personal bias.
You're always saying this. You're always saying this.
I can always appreciate when New Japan gives a platform and a spotlight to Japanese indies and letting them showcase some of their talent when it comes to that. So appreciate that from folks over at Bushi Road in New Japan. And I don't necessarily know how to feel about Rocky Romero and this choice of hairstyle that he has now. It looks sleazy. It looks greasy.
Yo, he looked like a totally different person when he was in Takeshita's corner on night 1. Oh my god.
But he's playing up the heel stuff, which I could definitely appreciate from Rocky. So yeah, I can appreciate that in that regard. I read some commentary over the weekend. I think Sanal even said something about this, where she said that she'd rather not have AEW character bits like Don Callis family stuff cross over to New Japan stuff. But I think at this point of the year, it obviously makes the most sense to do that because the Forbidden Door is not too far away. So I understand where she's coming from, but also realizing what business is that and what time of the year it is, it's like it just kind of makes sense right now.
I'm gonna call out our sweet Sadal, and I'll call her out again. Remind me to call her out again when she's back with us. She'll probably be back with us on Wednesday when we preview Resurgence. But I will call her out and say she would not be keeping the same energy if Will Ospreay was still part of United Empire.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I agree with you. But that. Yeah.
Or Jay White was still part of the Bullet Club. She would not be keeping the same energy.
Yeah. I probably agree with you there. But I can appreciate that they are trying different things. They're trying to see what the fans are gravitating towards and things of that nature. So yeah, man, it just to end my point about Rocky, it was definitely different. It looked odd, but it fit the character that he's trying to put out there now. And obviously him being an executive across so many different companies at this point, you know, him being this sleazy guy just makes all the sense. So shouts to them for bringing that to New Japan.
Okay, so yeah, Valab, I did watch the Marigold match with English commentary. He says, watch that match with Japanese commentary because Sonny G is a piece of shit. I don't know why you're saying this. I would like you could tell me in the chat why you're saying this. Well, I will say I think it was very, very insulting if you are like a Stardom fan that the English commentary went out and publicly said Mayu told them that they were coming. She was coming to Marigold a year ago. It's like, oh, so you're just making it like it's a part of storyline now that she's been planning this the whole time.
I mean, look, man, I have my, like I said, the Marigold stuff doesn't hit my radar. I don't know if I feel a certain way about Rossi after all these years or not.
I mean, Rossi is the one that I know is a piece of shit, and also like you said, a relationship with WWE. I call it he's a stripper for WWE. All he does is twerk for Triple H.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can definitely say that. But where the outside of Julia coming to NXT and doing what she did with Marigold first started, what has the relationship really been between WWE and Marigold? I haven't seen any of the ladies who are currently there, contracted talent there, come over to the WWE to do any sort of matches or interpromotional things. So, I guess Rossi was able to put his face on TV at sometimes. And things of that nature when it all first started, but nothing's come from it since then. So waiting. I'll continue to practice what I preach. So I'll have some patience with it and not try to go for the jugular too much and whatnot. Trying to get my patience back in life. But as of right now, I just don't see it. Big Man Dog said something important. He said that on commentary, they said Rocky was trying to recruit LIJ wrestlers for the Don Callis family. That was said. So I'm not sure how I feel about that necessarily, to be quite honest.
Hey, it's a good business decision. I'm with the Don Callis family too. You know, they pay me per diem. I'm not really a member. Like I am a fish. I don't know if you know this, J-News. I think I've told you this before, but I am a member of the Bullet Club War Dogs. You know
yes. That I'm aware of. Yeah, that I'm aware of.
Because I was getting heat on the Fightful main channel because I was like, we won the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup, and people were like, oh, bro thinks he's part of the team. I'm like, no, there is 6 years of lore with SP3 in the Bullet Club. I was in the Bullet Club block party in 2019. In 2022, I outlined how Jay White was transforming the Bullet Club in his image and how Juice Robinson joining the group made sense. And Jay White gave me the 2-sweet, officially making me a member of the Bullet Club. And then I did the interview with Clark Connors either earlier this year or late last year where he said, I'm his dog for real. So I'm a part of the War Dogs.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all there. It's
like I just broke it down very quickly for everybody. Thank you, Vala. Vala was in the chat and he was supporting it. He was like, yeah, he's like, this is like common knowledge now.
Yeah, man, it's out there for people to consume. This is not fake news. You know, this is not altered AI generated stuff. It happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people don't believe it.
There's video evidence, there's tweets, like you could follow all of this down the line. Like there's a lore. But see, this is why you're a good partner, J-News. You know the deal. So but as far as my one word or one phrase to describe Dontaku weekend, I agree with Gray Carter. This could have been one of the best shows of the year if it was one night.
Yes,
If you
absolutely.
just cut out all the
Yeah.
tag matches and put the main matches from night 1 and night 2 on one card, this would have been one of the best shows of the year.
Yeah.
But when you separate it into 2 cards, it's a very good show on Saturday and a good show on Sunday. Like that's probably my overarching. And then for Saturday, I thought that this was much better than it looked like on paper. Because if you gave me both cards on paper, I would have said, "Oh, night 2 is going to be the better card." And this night 1, I felt like outdid its expectations.
That's interesting that you said that about night 1. I think night 2 outdid its expectations, to be quite honest. So I'll land on that. Not saying night 1 was bad. I enjoyed night 1 quite a bit, but at the end of the day, I think that there were a lot of folks who didn't expect a lot out of the young 22-year-old prospect, and we got more than we were expecting. And I am here to say, to concur with Will Ospreay, definitely proud of the kid. Can't say anything more than that. Yeah, man, and Goto out here, he's trying to make big bank in a short amount of time and cash in these records. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, my man is the he might be stealing Shingo's crown, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because now it's a conversation we need to have. It's now a conversation we need to have. And this is a smart man. This smart man, big man dogs. He says that's kind of how I watched it. I skipped most of the undercards. Smart man out here. We got to do the due diligence for everybody else and yourself to watch all the undercards for you. But we won't spend too much time on them, trust. But we do have another super chat donation from your boy, the #1 J-News fan in the chat, Genesis J. Thank you so much, sir. He says, can't stay, gotta go, but we always appreciate how you stop in. He says, night 2 was great. So he's also, see, y'all are always on the same page. I'm starting to think that's your burner account, but I won't put that on you.
You would hear me typing if that was going on at the end of the day. But shouts to my dog for real, Genesis. Yeah.
There you go. But yes, let's talk about night 1, Fukuoka, Japan. I believe it did just over 2,500, but it was about just over like 463 more than last year's first night of Dontaku. The pre-show, you had a battle of the young lions, Katsuya Morishima versus Daisuke Nagai. Nagai spent the first half of the matchup actually in control of things, which surprised me as he targeted Morishima's weak left knee. However, the latter gritted his teeth. He came back with some forearms, a big slam. Nagai actually regained control. He actually got on a sharpshooter at one point. The battered and bruised Morishima made his comeback, though. He sinks in the Boston Crab, the young lion special, as Nagai had no other choice but to tap out. Another strong showing for Morishima, who continues his dominance over Nagai. You were the one who predicted Nagai would get his win back, or get at least one win on Morishima to end this winning streak, but Morishima has just been dominant over Nagai in these one-on-one pre-show matches. This was a strong showing here. I thought it was good that they kind of switched up the formula a little bit more, because Morishima has been dominant in most of the matches that they had, and this was more of Nagai being on top, and then Morishima making a comeback in the end. So I like this a little bit more, so I gave it 3 stars. What did you think, J-News?
They're inching towards it, man. They're inching towards it. I'm unlike yourself. I don't really care when I'm wrong. But at the end of the day, saw more. I liking the guy, like you said. It was a change of pace for this particular match. They were, for lack of a better term, they were practicing more on their storytelling elements in the ring in this match, which is what I appreciated the most about this. Working a body part and things of that nature, doing their best to sell the particular maneuvers and whatnot. And like you said, Nagai actually working on top in the match for the majority of the match. They're inching towards it. We're probably going to see a shift in it during the Best of Super Juniors tournament if they continue the Young Lion matches during the tournament. I'm not too sure how they're going to format the tournament stuff. If it's just going to be the matches, or if they're going to still have the Young Lion part of it, and if not, then they'll probably have the junior Young Lions participate. during the pre-shows. So yeah, man. But good match, solid match in between, and yeah, man, Morishima continuing his dominance, and I'm sure he'll be on his way to Excursion sooner rather than later.
Indeed, and we got a new member for the channel, the good brother Ninja Mortis. Ninja Mortis, thank you so much. Hitting that join button to become a member. You guys can do it as well. But I love the community of members that we have. I feel like we got like true bona fide pro wrestling fans, because I know Ninja Mortis, this dude watches everything, especially like Japanese content and stuff like that. I see him talking about it all over social media. So appreciate you joining the community of members that we got here on the channel. You're a good one, a good sir right there. But let's talk about the main card on Saturday. As we first up, we had Hontai being represented by the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Master Wato and Yo, as well as Boltin Oleg and Toriyano, as they went against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Roye Uyawa. Yo and Eagles, they wrestled early on with each other, starting things off, but then Wato fared a little bit better when he worked over Fujita. TMDK swarmed the Hontai team for a bit. This led to the gigantic collision between the two big men on each team of Boltin Oleg and Hartley Jackson. It was Boltin who got the better of this exchange as they exchanged German suplexes and whatnot throughout. Finally, Jackson came back with a big German suplex of his own, but ultimately it was Boltin Oleg who powered up, hits the kamikaze. Love Walker Stewart's call. I gotta say, Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton, they did great on both nights of Wrestling Dontaku. Had to mention that. But it was the Hontai team who pick up a victory in this opening tag team matchup. Got a little tease of some best of Super Juniors action, as each of these teams that just exchanged the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships will be in the A block and B block respectively. So you had Eagles facing off with Yo, you had Master Wato facing off with Fujita, as Hontai picked up the victory here. Solid opener to the main card here. Some good action with Yo and Wato's junior tag team going up against the Ichiban Sweet Boys, but really the highlight of this matchup was Hartley Jackson going at it with Boltin Oleg, and Boltin Oleg looking good in the end to pick up the victory here. So I gave this one 3.25 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, man, I'm still trying to find my way to sink into Boltin Oleg, or Oleg Boltin, whatever way you say his name. I forget which one is first at the end of the day. But
well, his name is Oleg Boltin, but he just changed his name to appease the Japanese people how they usually pronounce it.
So Oleg at the end of the day. Still trying to stick my teeth into him, man. Good showing for him here. Definitely agree there with you, SP3. Definitely just gearing up for the best of Super Juniors, man. The Ichiban Sweet Boys. I'm still surprised they lost those championships to Yo and Wato. So we'll probably end up doing some sort of
very good matchup. I watched it before Dontaku. Very good matchup they had.
Yeah, man, it's a very good matchup. Still surprised at the result, but we'll probably see a rematch somewhere down the line. And obviously, we're going to see them go one-on-one during the Best of Super Juniors if they're all on the same side of the block. I'm not too sure where everyone fits. I forget what the blocks look like right now. But yeah, man, tag match, bro. Tag match, multi-tag match. I
can only say so much. I can only say so much,
man. It's like if this is everybody's first time watching us on True Heel Heat covering New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'm a big advocate of my good brothers getting paid. So anytime any of them get to be in a ring, I know they're getting paid. So it's all good in the hood for me.
So, the only thing I'll accept. It's okay. Dustin in the chat saying the last two matches on night 2 was solid, but didn't blow me away. I loved the last two matches on night 2, but I felt like that's the crust of night 2 and the farewell to Naito and Bushi. I felt like that's why I felt like night 1 I had more to sink my teeth into, so I thought night 1 was better than night 2. We got Jeremy Orr says, what do you guys think of my Young Lions faction question? What did you
I don't dislike the thought process, Jeremy. I don't. I just wonder whether or not New Japan would ever pull the trigger on that. I always feel like because just from a cultural standpoint, they're very traditionalist folks over in Japan. I'm not too sure if they'll ever necessarily do that, because the young lions are always learning, and to have them create a faction would mean that they would have to go into character work right away, and not everybody's always very strong with that sort of thing from a presentation standpoint as well. So I would like it just to see how it would change the landscape of New Japan, but I'm just not too sure if the company would do it.
Yeah, I think it has to be the right young lions you do it with. I think it's something that they can do in the future. I don't know if this is the right young crop of young lions to do it. Maybe some, like I said before, maybe like the former young lions, like you have Shota Umino lead like the young blood and something like that. I came up with that idea a couple of months back, but I've also been calling for Shota Umino to turn heel for the better part of the year, but that's besides the point. We got Ninja Mortis. He says, remember when I said what they doing with Yo when they put him with Rocky? Now he's with Wato. I like Yo. I've been lukewarm on Wato, so it's my bias, but I don't know. I really feel like they paired up Yo and Wato because they both took a step back when they got their injuries.
Right.
And I feel like this is their way of kind of putting them together, giving them a junior tag team title run to get them to get back to where they were before the injuries.
Yeah, this is a reestablishment project at the end of the day. So I can definitely agree with what you're saying, SP3. Wato was on his way, as we all know, on his way to the Grandmaster, and he's still working his way back to the Grandmaster. So we're still working there. And Yo's been a product of unfortunate injuries over the last couple of years. So we still haven't necessarily, or I can only speak for myself, but I necessarily haven't been able to sink my teeth into what Yo's been doing as of late as an individual. I still am waiting and wanting to see more, and hopefully we get to do that, with him being healthy and everything else in between. So there's that.
Next up, we had more multi-man action. This time, an 8-man tag team matchup, as you had Taichi, Tomohiro Ishii, Taka Michinoku, and Yuya Uemura of Hontai and / Just Four Guys versus Los Ingobernables de Japón, the second and last match for Bushi and Tetsuya Naito as they teamed up with IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji and Hiromu Takahashi. This was also a preview for the big Uemura versus Tsuji matchup on night 2. So you had a bunch of exchanges between them. Love that Naito wanted to savor this moment in this the second to last matchup in New Japan Pro Wrestling, that he did his traditional slow disrobing and then proceeded to rebutton his shirt and zip up his pants to disrobe again. Love him for that. I think Chris Charlton, this is why I say Chris Charlton and Walker Studio did an excellent job on both nights, because Chris Charlton was really painting the picture of the rivalry between Uemura and Tsuji from the Young Lion days to where they are now on this night, as well as during the matchup on night 2. Naito and Bushi were working well with each other, toppling Michinoku at one point. Got some great exchanges between Hiromu and Ishii in this matchup as well. Taiji was left in the ring though with Bushi, and this was never gonna go well for him as the mass wrestler. He hit some offense on Taichi, but he quickly overwhelmed him. He hits the ace bomber, and then proceeds to hit the his dangerous backdrop for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. So the Hontai mixture gets the win. Post-match, we get a quick exchange between Tsuji and Uemura going at it with one another for a bit before they did their little stare down ahead of their IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship matchup. matchup, but Hontai pick up the victory here as Naito and Bushi. This one didn't have too much, emphasis on them. I thought that both nights would do a better job of kind of emphasizing this. I think that this one was lighter, especially in comparison to night 2, but this was more to build up the Uemura and Tsuji matchup than us saying official goodbye to Bushi and Naito. They saved that for night 2. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, I thought I'm in step with you about both nights and how it felt. I know that the prevailing idea was that Naito said it was just going to be another night of business. That they shouldn't have made it a big deal, and things of that nature. And for the most part, it was just another night of business on both nights, up until the moments where they were made to stop and take in the adulation of the fans and things of that nature, whatever. Like you said, this was more of a point of us getting to preview Tsuji and Uemura, which impressed the hell out of me in their one-on-one on night 2. And yeah, man. Yet again, I'm still kind of in a I don't want to say haze, but it's like it's different to be here on a Monday, understanding that there is no longer an LIJ to look forward to in the future.
It's different. Where it feels like a whole new world we're living in. It's very weird. I do agree. But yes, I agree with Ninja Mortis, though. I just want Naito to rest, see Mysterio stem cell guy, and take a vacay before doing anything else. I agree. I can agree.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of wrestling talent have been reaching out to Rey Mysterio Jr. over the last couple of years. That mysterious stem cell guy out of Mexico, man. He does wonders for some of these guys, So
magician.
It's been working out. The hope is that other superstars that have gone to the stem cell guy make comebacks in the next coming year. So, hoping it all works out.
Absolutely. The match I just gave 2 3/4. It wasn't as good as what the next night would be. This one was our last preliminary tag team matchup as we got a preview of night 2's main event as Bishamon, Hirooki Goto, and Yoshihashi with Ryosuke Taguchi, an honorary Bishamon member, and representing Hontai versus United Empire's Callum Newman, Great Okan, and Jacob Austin Young. We got a start with Callum and Goto going at it. Callum defiantly axing the best of Goto, opening up. Taguchi and Great Okan added the comedy to this matchup with him trying to do Great Okan's sitting motion. Okan would get some revenge back by sitting on top of Taguchi's head. They exchanged some exchanges like Taguchi suffering a thumb in the bum by Khan as well. Jacob Austin Young felt like he had a lot more energy. He brought a lot of energy into this matchup, getting some offense on Taguchi. I like the commentary once again, noting that this was a big opportunity for the JAY to prove that the talent selection for the Best of Super Juniors was wrong for ignoring him. Newman sought out to finish Taguchi in the face of Goto, but the Goto tagged in and he got some offense in, hitting Ushigoroshi on Callum at one point. I love the work over the neck. Then we got some more exchanges between Okan and Taguchi, facing off, having a karate exchange. They reintroduced, Taguchi reintroduced, Khan was reintroduced to the mat by Great Okan, who got the better of him. Yoshihashi and Taguchi kept Okan out and Newman at bay as Goto put Young into the ring. They hit Shoto for the 1-2-3, picking up the victory here. Post-match, we get Callum and Goto going face-to-face, previewing the next night's main event. I like the exchanges between Goto and Newman. I thought that the exchanges between Okan and Taguchi added some levity to this, so this was a little bit better than the match before, so I gave it 3 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, I think this match did what it was supposed to do. The recurring characters and acts that are still stable within the company are still doing their bits. I think I am now finally in the mode of acceptance that the Great Okan is just a comedy act at this point. And yeah, that's where I land with it. Taguchi don't get old, bro. Have you been paying attention? Taguchi don't get old, bro. Like
He don't. He's looked like this since I started watching in like 2012.
He does not get old, man, and it is cool to see him still being who he is, and still be able to put up, still be able to hoop as he does when it comes down to it, and things of that nature. Yeah, the match did what it was supposed to do. The preview and the interactions between Callum and Goto were solid here, but what we got the next night was definitely something to look forward to in the future and stuff like that. So yeah, solid.
Dustin asks, question to you both. Do any of the former LIJ feel like they fit in any other groups in New Japan? Shingo, even though he's not a proper New Japan guy, I could see him in a Hontai. Only because he's like a veteran like that fits in with like the other veterans in Hontai. As far as Hiromu, if there was still just 4 guys, I think that would be a place that kind of fits his quirky personality, that he's like kind of bizarre personality that he can have. But now they're just in Hontai. Pretty much there's only House of Torture, the War Dogs, what's left of United Empire, and Hontai at this point. So like there ain't a lot of options here. So, and yeah, Tsuji, I'm very certain he's got to create his own stable.
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like Tsuji will create his own faction. I feel because of the consolidation of just 4 guys into Hontai, I feel like the members of the younger generation will, at least a couple of them will come together in some sort of way. If not, then they'll become the leaders of their own stables and stuff like that. Like you said, Tsuji become a leader of his stable. As of right now, Uemura, is he necessarily seen as the leader of just 4 guys? I don't think so.
I think it's still Taichi.
Yeah, it's still Taichi. So we'll see how that all breaks down. But do I see any of the LIJ members joining any of the other crews? To be honest, no. I just kind of feel like they'll shift out of the LIJ thing. Tsuji will make his own thing, and then those members will become a new faction, and then they'll add new members to that faction. So outside of that, I don't think they'll join any of the existing factions and stuff like that.
We got Ninja Mortis says, Okan, they will never make me hate you. No, I can't. We can't hate Great Okan. No. We just want more for Great Okan.
Yeah. I'm not hating, man. It's just like now I'm just kind of resigned to the fact that he's like, all right, it's a comedy act. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. What else is there? You know. So.
Then this is when night 1 really turned around. When we get into the nitty gritty, and the last 4 matches, I thought all of them delivered in some way, starting off with the NJPW World Television Championship with the best wrestler in the world right now. I think I'm done. I'm done debating this. I'm done. I love Will Ospreay. I love Kenny Omega. I think they're the only 2 that is on this level, but no one is putting up the hits. No one is delivering the instant classics, the bangers that Konosuke Takeshita is delivering right now. Our never openweight champion, who had Rocky Romero in his corner as he challenged NJPW World Television Champion El Phantasmo here, who had Jado in his corner. And opportunistic Takeshita took advantage of Romero's distraction on Phantasmo, hits a big tope with his jacket still on. Outside the ring, Takeshita and Romero use the environment to soften up ELP. ELP got the better of things. He threw Takeshita over the barricade along with Rocky Romero and hits a slingshot dive to the outside onto both men. On the apron, they started fighting for a bit where ELP hits a big power driver and it looks like Takeshita is out of it before he gets back into the ring at the count of 19, barely avoiding the count out finish. We get some great exchanges between the two as Phantasmo was hoping for the sudden death, but instead found himself getting dropped by Takeshita with big forearm, the world-class forearm. We get Phantasmo hitting CR2, getting a close near fall with that. Takeshita surprises Phantasmo when he tries to come off with a springboard off of the middle rope and hits him with a blue thunder bomb for a 2 count. We get poison ranas from both men. We get the power drive knee, which barely Phantasmo was able to avoid for a kick out. Phantasmo looks like he's on the verge of trying to get this one finished. He hits a big lariat as the time is running down. We got the 5-minute call, we got a 3-minute call, we got a 2-minute call. With a minute left, he hits that big lariat. He goes for it. He doesn't know if he wants to go for the pinfall or go for another move, so he decides to go for the pinfall late. Takeshita kicks out. He desperately tries to hit another CR2, but the clock runs out and we go to a 15-minute time limit draw. We both predicted this on our preview, but man, did this deliver a great matchup. These two guys just have a fantastic chemistry together, like every time out, whether it be in the ladder match at Forbidden Door, whether it be their instant classic match of the year candidate in Corgan Hall in the G1 last year, and then here another certified banger as the level, the sense of urgency is just there with all of Takeshita's matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it was kind of upped even more because of the 15-minute time limit. And, you know, Takeshita's last never openweight championship match with Uemura went like 12 minutes, and that had like that sense of urgency, but it was even more here. And I love the fact that commentary noted that their G1 match went 17 minutes. So it already took him that long to beat him back in last summer. We don't know if he can get the job here, and he couldn't get the job done here against ELP, and ELP couldn't get the job done over Takeshita. Still hasn't beat Takeshita yet, and I love that we're getting this rivalry getting built before our eyes between ELP and Takeshita here, and this was a great chapter. Excellent matchup. I give it 4.25 stars. To this point, the match of the night so far. What did you think, J-News?
I agree, man. I thought that this match lived up to the billing at the end of the day. Like you said, we both predicted that this would be a time limit draw because they do have their other match coming at Resurgence and things of that nature. The way that the card has now been broken down for Resurgence, they're the main event. So
no, not after night two. Not after night two. No.
Oh, that's right. Because
IWGP.
Yeah. Because of Goto's match, right? Or whatever. I mean, even being semi-main. Fantastic, I think, at the end of the day. What I take away from this is that these two will inevitably fight forever. And I think that that's a good thing for professional wrestling fans at the end of the day. Like you said, Ben, Takeshita is on top of his game. He is the best in-ring performer on the planet right now. And this is with like subtle character work on TV here and there and whatnot. Yeah. So no one is taking him off his pedestal as of right now. And I think the wrestling fandom is all the better for it at the end of the day. So yeah, man, fantastic match in my eyes. And how they got to the time limit draw was cool to me. So anytime somebody just rolls away when time is about to elapse, that always gets me. So always love that spot in any time limit draw kind of a match. So yeah, man, can't wait to see what they got, what they have for us for Resurgence, and we'll take it from there.
Good to see you in the chat. I make beats. Big Man Dog says, now this is where I got started. See, he's a smart man. He kept it to the big matches on this show here. Dustin says Takeshita is in the prime of his career, which is crazy because he's like 27, 28 years old. Like he's got like 15 more years of this based on what we've seen from other Japanese wrestlers and considering how good he is right now. Dustin says this match was great, but I don't like that we get a second match so soon. I don't mind it because we were already going to get that matchup. So this was a matchup to kind of be like, hey, I'm a champion. I'm going to prove myself as a champion and defend my title against you as well. Instead of ELP taking, just a loss at Resurgence, he proved that Takeshita needs more than 15 minutes to beat him here. So this is kind of a win for ELP that Takeshita didn't get the job done. So we're making ELP look strong before the Never Openweight Championship matchup. So I don't mind it. And this is all building to probably these two being in the same block and in the G1 again. And that's where probably ELP finally gets the win over Takeshita.
Yeah, and they found a way out of booking themselves into a corner of having ELP take the TV championship back off of Okan, doing what they're doing between ELP and Takeshita at this point. So I think it was a solid decision to make, especially not having either wrestler look weak in this particular match, and then more than likely neither of them is going to look weak in the Never Openweight match at the end of the day. No matter if Takeshita does retain or not, ELP's not going to come out any worse from that match. I don't think so. Yeah.
Big Man Dog says this was the second best match on the card to me. I agree there. I think it was like top 4 for the weekend for sure out of these two shows. Ninja Marty says love ELP. He can go. Hope they trust him enough to put other belts on him. Takeshita is a future ace. We all know this. Indeed. He's just so good. It just depends on who's going to do it first. Is it going to be Gato or is it going to be Tony who gives him the rock so he can run with it?
I think it has to be a collective decision, and they have to make him the new ace of the universe. No shade to Tana, but they have to make him the new ace of the universe. And
he already passed the torch. No shade at all.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, I feel like it's got to be a collective decision. TK's got to run with it. Rocky's got to run with it. If they make him go to CMLL out of Mexico, they got to run with it. Just give him the Kenny Omega super title reign at the end of the day, so that people just understand how good he is.
Then we got something completely different from the previous matchup. The previous matchup was your like banger matchup with like hard hitting and high impact moves. This was more of your like technical wrestling clinic, as you had Zack Sabre Jr. versus the ace of the universe, Hiroshi Tanahashi, in the latest final road matches for Tanahashi. This one, kinship. These two men have faced basically like every year since Zack Sabre Jr. became a full-time New Japan star. The ace early on tried to go with the grappling and the technical mastery of ZSJ. We got a classic dynamic offense from both guys. Zack mockingly was kicking to Tanahashi for a bit, only provoking his ire, so Tanahashi hits a big senton. Zack's long legs were swung in the matchup as he took control of things, started putting on different submissions on Tanahashi, but he was able to escape. The pair started going for backslide pins on each other before Tanahashi opted for twist and shout. As he tried to go for a Zack driver, but Tanahashi was able to avoid it. He hits a high fly flow. He goes for another one, only for Zack to trap him in the triangle choke. The ace was being worn down as Zack transitioned that into a rear naked choke, and then eventually Zack gets the win as he just pulls out the Zack driver. Like he did basically the Suzuki finish of rear naked choke into the finisher as he hits the Zack driver. 1, 2, 3. Zack Sabre Jr. picking up the victory here. This has been one of the more consistent rivalries as far as like match quality throughout the last couple of years for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and this felt like low effort, but it was still really good. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. This is Tanahashi, man. This dude on a half a knee, not even one knee, a half a knee has been like so good. He's still so good because he gets that emotion, he brings that drama to the matches, and he has that connection with the crowd, which always has them engaged in the matches. And he's still able to do more of like the low effort technical wrestling and grappling that Zach is so great at. So this was a really good matchup. What did you think?
I thought this was different just from the standpoint of that, like you said, we went from a banger, and then we go into this, and obviously, you know, the gloriousness that is the Tekker of Zack Sabre Jr. Taking the lead here in this particular match, but then Tanahashi still doing what he was able to do in this match. For those who don't necessarily know, it's always tough for me to see Tana in the condition that he's in, continuing to wrestle the way that he does. But like SP3 did say, he's still able to bring that drama. He's still able to get that emotion out of the crowd because of his connection with the crowd and things of that nature. And I feel like this match just proved that Tanahashi took Zack Sabre Jr.'s advice to heart. There was a comment that Tana made because Tana has been very doubtful and down on his in-ring abilities, and Zack Sabre Jr. gave Tana some advice on how to supersede his physical limitations and still be able to do great things in matches. And it seems that that Tana's taken heed to that, and we might just see more of the emotional tug and pull of these matches take the forefront instead of just the physicality of it all. So big props to Tanahashi for that. Props to ZSJ for the win here and taking the lead. And obviously this led into what we got in night 2. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Then you want something a little bit different. Like you said, the TV title was your kind of sense of urgency matchup. Then we got more of a technical wrestling clinic with Tada and ZSJ. This match out of nowhere became one of the more physical matches of the weekend, and probably the best of Shota Umino outside of the New Japan Cup final with David Finlay, as he went one-on-one with Shingo Takagi here. Love the story of Shingo losing his last big 2 matches against Shooter in the G1 and then in the New Japan Cup semifinals. So Takagi comes out very hard, charges at Umino. He unleashes the fury. Umino comes back. He starts getting physically intense in this one, and this one just got, the physicality went up a level as the match went on. Takagi used his power with some big lariats, using the outside the surrounding environment to his advantage. We got the wrist control by Takagi as he followed up with a series of lariats and then hits a big power bomb for a near fall. Shingo withstood a frenzied comeback from Shooter, who dodged a lariat and then hit a big tornado DDT. Umino recovered after a sliding lariat and then hits another tornado DDT, as Shingo then comes back with a tornado DDT of his own. Shingo's dominance faded away as Umino started hitting some big lariats like his name was Shingo Takagi. Each man starts trading lariats as they get 1 count finishes, and then the crowd started getting louder and into this one a lot as the match draw near. We get one of the most sickest sounding and delivered pumping bomber lariats that we've seen in quite some time, to the point that it's so powerful that the crowd just like ooh, just gives you the oohs and then some rapid chants, as you could tell he knocked the shit out of Shooter. And it wasn't until after he hits the last of the dragon and finishes it off that we see Umino is freaking busted open from the nose from that pumping bomber. Shingo Takagi picking up the victory here in a no-nonsense physical war. This one delivered big time, and it really exceeded my expectations, because I thought that their New Japan Cup semifinal matchup was below what Shingo Takagi usually delivers and more on cue with what we expect from Shota. But Shota really brought the physicality here, and it made for a much better matchup than we're used to from him. So I gave this one 4 stars. Post match, we got Shingo going face to face with Konosuke Takeshita, who is at the commentary table, showing some disrespect, some smack talk between the two. So I thought we were going to get a never open weight championship matchup, a rematch from the Tokyo Dome between those two, but Shingo had bigger fish to fry, and we would see that on night 2. But what did you think about Shingo and Shooter here?
I was not expecting for the great Shingo Takagi to come out very pissed off in this match. I was not expecting that at all. He wrestled this match in a way we seldom see him do, and it was, to me, the story of the match was Shingo basically sending a message to Shooter, yo, pick a lane, in the sense of, dog, do something. Like, we can't be having this you being in limbo for forever shit. Like, if you want to be a BMFer, get physical. If you want to do the freaking and be the shining light and good guy, pick that lane. But pick a lane, dude. And at the end of the day, through the story of the match, it seemed like Shooter decided that he wanted to pick that BMFer lane, because he got in there, and for the first time in forever, from what I feel like, when he threw his forearms and you heard that impact, I was like, oh, Shooter's for real now. Shooter's for real. This is where we're going with this. Okay, cool. So when watching that match and understanding that the message, at least for me, that's the way that I interpreted it. The message was, yo, dude, pick a lane and stay in it at the end of the day. And it seemed like Shooter stayed in that lane, and he reveled in the lane because he was smiling half the damn time. And it's like, yeah, I can do this. So go ahead and do it. Is really more the message here. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Stop waffling out here, you know? So I appreciated that. Shingo beating him. And by the end of it all, and Shooter walking out at his own recognizance at the end of the day, even with the bloody nose and everything else in between, it's like, okay, maybe we have a lane for Shooter now. You know what I'm saying? You know, having to no longer wonder where's Shota going. Maybe Shooter just lives in that never open weight world, and he gets to be in there physical with these high profile, high energy, high impact wrestlers. I want to see more of that. Can he hang? Will he hang? In this particular instance, yeah, no doubt he lost the match, but he was able to step up, go toe to toe, and deliver. Shooter Umino's best match since the New Japan Cup final, and yeah, man, that to me, this to me is one of those cases where if this doesn't wake Shooter up, nothing else will. That's really what I walked away with it from. Yeah.
And then finally, it was time for some bloodshed. It was time to go to war for the Bullet Club, as we had House of Torture represented by Evil, Ren Narita, Sanada, Sho, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, Taiji Ishimori, Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and David Finlay in the second ever steel cage match, the Dog Pound steel cage matchup, with the loser having to leave the Bullet Club. So I love how the match started. You had House of Torture coming down, and then the War Dogs come down, and this time it wasn't like the first Dog Pound steel cage matchup, which was basically worked like a War Games matchup of staggered intervals. It was all 5 men in the matchup at the same time, and I think that worked to this match's benefit. As you get the War Dogs, they lock the cage door from the outside, and then they climb over the cage wall to start things off. Each War Dog found their House of Torture member to assault. You get Kid and Narita. They go at it. They start trading steel chair shots. Maloney was going at it with Sanada. He got the better of Sanada when Dick Togo gave him a low blow. House of Torture proceeded to carve into his forehead with Drilla came down with basically like how people in the military wear the straps that have like the bullets on it. He had forks on it, so they pull out the forks and they just start stabbing him in the head, making him bleed. They also stabbed Connors in the head as well. He was also sent into an exposed ring post. They grind his face against the cage for his troubles as well. Narita, meanwhile, repeatedly drove Kid Skull into a nearby table, busting him open. We get the vultures that are the House of Torture. They just start picking apart Drilla in the ring when the War Dogs return to the ring to come to his aid. Finley sacrificed himself by vertical suplexing himself and Show into a crowd of War Dogs and House of Torture down at ringside from the top rope. Back inside the ring, Connors and Kanemaru were dueling with a baseball bat and a kendo stick, respectively, as Narita destroyed a chair over Ishimori's skull, and Ishimori had a sick blade job. He was busted open big time. We get Connors endured a whiskey breath by Kanemaru before unleashing a gore to Show and Uncle Nobu. Finley wielded his shillelagh against Evil, furthermore dropping him with a gun stun. I love that he's been using that more and more. He also hit Into Oblivion, but the House of Torture were able to break up the cover. We get Dick Togo got involved in this one. Gato tries to fight him on the outside, but he also gets jumped by Yujiro Takahashi. Gato entered the cage. He falls onto a table that had Dick Togo on top of it. Doesn't break the table. The table just falls over. So this had comedic botches. It had bloodshed. He had forks. You had tables. You had chairs. This had everything you could ask for in this matchup. Taiji Ishimori does a moonsault off the cage at another point. Evil breaks apart Finley Shillelagh, hurting his own legacy. That's something that's so important to him, before driving the splintered edge of the Shillelagh into Finley's forehead, busting him open, followed up by strikes with a chain wrapped around his hand. Maloney came to Finley's rescue. Drilla Maloney put on a hell of a performance in this one. He just came in at different times and was really kind of the heart of the Bullet Club War Dogs throughout this one. He comes in, makes the save for him. He cracked fucking Sonata over the head with a guitar at one point. That busted open Sonata. In return, though, Sonata flipped him off of the apron through a table. He was supposed to go through 2 tables, but instead he only goes through 1. Then we get the best conclusion possible, as the 2 former Young Lions who really started this whole war between the War Dogs and House of Torture are the ones to finish things off, as it's Gabe Kid and Ren Narita going at it. The Kid has the perfect crimson mask face, and he weathers Narita's biting of his skull and with headbutts and then a lariat. He then grinded Narita's face into a barbed wire wrapped table, painting everything with blood. And oh my god, the bloodshed of Narita brought out a whole different side of this man. This is the best that Ren Narita has looked since his excursion. He looked like a brand new man, not just because his face was crimson red, but because he felt like he had so much energy, so much ferocity in everything he was doing. The intensity level between their brawling at the end was absolutely tremendous. And then it concluded with a bombastic, over-the-top finish as they're fighting on top of the top rope. The barbed wire table is right below them. We get some bites, some headbutts, and finally Finley finishes off Narita with the fucking drill a hole power driver off the top rope through the barbed wire table. 1, 2, 3. The Bullet Club War Dogs win the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup. They go 2-0 in the most dangerous match in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now, and officially the House of Torture are out of the Bullet Club. Post-match, the war is still continuing as Evil doesn't give a fuck about being out of the Bullet Club as he decides to handcuff Finley to the cage. He then wraps a dog collar steel chain around Finley's throat, hanging him until the War Dogs are able to recover and Evil runs out of there. But post-match, you get some great stuff with Gabe Kidd being the one who won the war for them. He's the one that cuts the promo for the team, and he tells about how they are the Bullet Club. He says, fuck a Kenny, fuck a AJ, fuck a Jay. This is the real Bullet Club, and if you ain't down with that, you ain't my dog for real. The crowd was into this. They love Gabe Kidd. They love the Bullet Club War Dogs now. This might be the most popular the Bullet Club has been since the Elite. This is how great the Bullet Club War Dogs and how they have integrated themselves as being like a part of the Lion Mark. They are New Japan true and true, and they pick up the victory here. They defeat the evil empire of the House of Torture, officially kicking them out of the Bullet Club War Dogs. And my lord, I did not know that this was actually better than the first one. The first one was so dangerous and scary at times. Yes, it was. But that like took some of my enjoyment out of this. This just felt like a full-on like 80s style War Games matchup in the best way possible. And Drilla Maloney came out of it looking better than he did before because he was really the guy who was making the save for everybody else. Clark Connors had a gutsy performance. Taiji Ishimori showed something that he hasn't shown in years with like the bloodshed that he has and doing the dive off the cage. Gabe Kidd is the savior of the team by getting the win for them. And David Finlay really is like probably the most selfless Bullet Club leader that we've ever seen because he really just let everybody else take the spotlight. And he was more worried about setting up a future matchup with Evil, probably at Dominion, the dog collar matchup, which he made the challenge after the match. And but yes, this is SP3 on the year of our Lord on May 5th, 2025. This is the best goddamn House of Torture match ever. 4.5 stars. This blew my expectations away. J-News.
So this was different for me. I remember the stark fear I had watching the first steel cage dog pound match between the War Dogs and the United Empire. Fear throughout the entire match. I didn't know if people were going to come out alive. I didn't know if people were going to not necessarily walk out with all their limbs. Just straight up fear in that match. In this match, to your point, Big Man Dogs even said it in the chat, it felt more old school, right? I liked the beginning of the match when the War Dogs locked the House of Torture in the cage so they wouldn't have an ability to run out. I thought was a good piece of storytelling to tell, because usually when it's time to bail, they bail. But in this instance, they couldn't bail, right? They had to stay there. And they took all the damage that they took. I think Big Man Dog said it too when it came to Ren Narita. He was like, he's saying that with the Crimson Mask, that now he's starting to put those seeds of doubt in the deniers' heads. Ren Narita's in the wrong business, man. Not in the wrong business. He's in the wrong. He's doing the wrong kind of matches. He's hardcore. At the end of the day, Ren Narita should be following in the footsteps of El Desperado and Jun Kasai right now, because that's the best.
The Gabe Kidd match in the New Japan Cup was a brawl, and he was great in it. And then he was great in it. Like, I agree, he's doing the wrong style of match.
Yeah,
he was trying to emulate the wrong Japanese wrestler by being cosplay Shibata.
Exactly. The Shibata shit. Like we saw it, and then it didn't work. And then now you're in this other kind of like fold in the House of Torture shit. Like, nah, man, you're hardcore, bro. You're hardcore. Hardcore in Japan is different than hardcore in America. Like, take that and run with it at the end of the day. Yeah, man, I felt like for whatever reason, the end of the match when Evil hung David Finlay with the collar. I didn't know this was going to continue. I mentioned that earlier in the match. I didn't know that they were going to go one-on-one and have a dog collar match. Dog collar matches, from my history with them since I was a kid, are not those matches are not easy to watch by majority.
No.
And it's usually one of those not saying that this will be, but it's usually one of those loser leaves town type deals or whatever. Whoever loses doesn't show up again at the end of the day, or they're really changed after the fact. So we'll see where the House of Torture goes from here now that they're no longer part of the Bullet Club. But those instances, man, the Ishimori dive off the moonsault off the cage, like you said, I hadn't seen that in many, many years. Ishimori take that sort of a dive, that sort of a risk. Gabe Kidd leading the way. Gabe Kidd led the way. For everybody who's given me grief for months.
No, but like after this matchup, I can't see the Bullet Club War Dogs like turning on Finlay or Kidd. Like this was like the way they talked about it at the end, like we're a family, and that promo they did after the matchup backstage. They were all awesome in that promo.
Drilla broke them boys because cats had to get off camera and shit. They was laughing. I was like, it was the wordplay. It was the words he chose, but it was what it was. Good moment for them. Yeah, man, they are probably for all intents and purposes, they're probably the most badass babyface version of the Bullet Club there's been in forever, really. So I give them credit for that. I think there's going to be I think there's going to be an escalation between the current Bullet Club War Dogs and the old school regime that might be coming, making their way back to Japan. So we're probably going to end up seeing some of that in the coming weeks and months. But yeah, man, this match did exactly what it was supposed to do. I felt, and I have to thank the House of Torture for not including Yujiro in the match itself by majority. I thank them for that. I did not expect for the heel master to get as involved as he did. And he
climbed over the cage with his bad knees.
Exactly. So I respect him for that. Yeah, man, House of Torture, the best they've looked since their inception, to be quite honest. And I would be remiss if I did not say that the man-made disco ball that was Sonata's entrance to this particular match.
Yes, I agree. Yo, I was like, this man looks like a disco ball. This was the most aura-filled entrance in House of Torture history.
I couldn't believe that I saw that with everything that Sonata's been doing with all of his gear as of late or whatever. Very interesting choices of gear. This whole disco ball thing going into basically a hardcore match. And I'm like, this is insane. This is crazy. And then to also, I'm like, I might be off base. I probably seen Sonata bleed before, but I don't recall it. And like seeing him bleed in this match was like, oh, this is different. Like he's not really used to doing this sort of stuff. How is he going to respond in this manner? And he responded, man. I'm not going to say he didn't. Yet again, like the funny lack thereof interaction between him and Evil is still kind of out there for me right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure what this is, how this is going for the future of the House of Torture. But hey, it all worked out. We'll see what the dog collar match between Finlay and Evil brings. They're probably going to do that at Dominion at the end of the day.
Jeremy RX and don't think they need the dog collar match. What do you guys think? I think it's a good way to give Finlay a big matchup at Dominion. Because the whole question was after Finlay lost the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship matchup is how do you keep him on that level after winning the New Japan Cup? And this match delivered. I think that this Dog Collar matchup might be one of Evil's best matchup. If they keep the same energy that this match had, I think that will be like a worthy follow-up to kind of put the end to the War Dogs House of Torture. But really the reason why they had the finish that they had here is that the whole genesis of this feud was the Kid and Narita, their rivalry from Young Lions into the New Japan Cup tournament, him screwing him out the New Japan Cup tournament against Tai Chi, and then all the brawls that they've had throughout the last two tours into this matchup here. So it needed to end with those two, but the Evil and Finlay rivalry kind of like stems from all of that as well. Everything that started when Evil came back at New Beginning and said that the War Dogs were out of the Bullet Club. So to put like a bow on it, I think that the Dog Collar matchup, it feels worthy of finishing things out between the two.
Yeah, because for lack of optics, they're both the leaders of their crews. So
yeah,
at this point, both crews out of the way, link them up together. One dog collar on one end, the other dog collar on the other. Evil, brother, at the end of the day, good luck. That's all I gotta say to you. Good luck. So we'll see how that all breaks down. But when I first kind of sat with the match, I said to myself, do I feel like this match is better than the original Dog Pound Steel Cage match? Or is it just different? And I landed on different just because of the feel of both matches at the end of the day, not one being better than the other. I do agree. I forget who in the chat said it, but like, thankfully this match was not an hour long. It didn't need to be.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
I think that's why I went with it's better, is because it's a half an hour less than that first one. And I would say I love the guys that were in the first one more than I love the guys in this one, because y'all know my feelings on House of Torture. But I can't deny that just the energy, this had a frenetic energy to it, a sense of urgency that the first one didn't.
Yeah, man. It's definitely putting the War Dogs in a position to, run the place in a sense without even having, none of them have championships right now. But they're at the top of the New Japan food chain. So we'll see how it all breaks down. And man, shouts to the War Dogs. Shouts to the House of Torture, honestly, for this one particular match. We'll see where it goes from here. And I think that if Evil ends up losing, and this is me speculating at the end of the day, but if Evil ends up losing his match versus Finlay, we might see another disbandment of another group, man.
You might be right. You might be. I won't say you're wrong, because that's two huge losses for House of Torture. So we shall see. We shall see. But we're gonna give our overall thoughts on night one. So let us know in the live chat your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP. Out of 10, what did you give night one of Wrestling Dontaku? Whether you gave it a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. For me, NJ-News, for Wrestling Dontaku, day one in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, I'm gonna give night one 8 out of 10. What about you?
Same. I thought 8 because the last 4 matches really carried the show. Wanting to see more. I'm leaving the show wanting to see more and excited for what the future is going to bring for the talent involved is what I want to walk away with from a show. So night one did that for me. Absolutely.
What was your match of the night?
If I'm just talking match, it's ELP versus Takeshita. That's the match of the night for me. just because
you got it all wrong. The match of the night was the dog belt steel cage matchup. That's what everybody's gonna be talking about coming out of this show. That's the match that everyone's gonna remember. I love ELP. I love Takeshita. They will probably have a better matchup than the one they did on night one at Resurgence. This matchup, this steel cage, this is the best of the best of the worst faction, which isn't a high bar sometimes. But this was so good that it makes me question. It makes me question what Big Man Talks is saying. House of Torture good? They might be if you book them like this all the time.
It's like there's been this concerted effort across professional wrestling to make bad shit into heel shit, and for me, it's like it's nah. Like, can we get back to our classic tropes, please? Like, I don't need bad shit to be heel shit. I don't need that. Just give me heel shit, and I'll be okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
yes. But House of Torture's had a great year because Tanahashi and Evil was way better than it had any right to be. We talked about Gabe Kidd and Ren Narita in the New Japan Cup, and then this, those are the three best House of Torture matches ever, and we had it all in the first 5 months of this year.
Listen, man, ever since, look, man, I'm not going, I got off the gravy train, but I'll say this, man, ever since Sonata joined the House of Torture.
Come on, he just joined a month ago. What are we talking about? That was after the Evil and Arena matches. You were ridiculous. I'm not doing this with you. Who is your MVP for the show?
Ooh, shit. Honestly, if I've got to, I'm going with the War Dogs as a group as the MVPs. Can't just pick one guy because they went out of their way to tell a specific story inside the cage, and they were able to quarantine the House of Torture and not let them escape and do all the work that needed to be done in order to outlast them and beat them up, bloody them up, and see if they really stand 10 toes down to their name. Are you the House of Torture, or are you gonna be able to roll with the War Dogs? And they weren't able to roll with War Dogs, so
Yeah. I agree with you. It's the War Dogs, the MVPs of the show. LVP for the show. That's a tough one.
Okay.
I would go with.
Wow, that's kind of tough for night one. I don't think anybody really did anything too bad per se.
Yeah, nobody's lost. I could go with people that lost, like House of Torture. I can't even go with them because they had their best match, ever. And you know what? I am gonna single out one member of the War Dogs. I'm gonna give it to Gato for that dive.
That cheap ass dive. Oh, man. I was watching.
That's why I said this match had everything. It had a botch that just made me laugh.
Cheap ass dive. God damn it, Gato. I'll go. I agree with you there. I was watching, just for a tidbit, I was watching a match of Gato wrestle in the mid 90s, and Gato's physical appearance has changed so much since he started in professional wrestling. He's unrecognizable, bro. It's like Bloody Hands is not the same junior heavyweight we had in the mid 90s. It's crazy, but I just want to say that out loud. So yeah.
All right, let's move on to night two, or like we did with the night one, but even a little bit more faster. We'll go through the multi-man matches for the night two here. Night two, we had the pre-show preliminary matchup, which had Katsuya Morishima and Ryusuke Taguchi going up against Hentamura, Sasaki, and Jet Way. The outsiders in this one had a lot of offense that the fans were into in the building, especially Jet Way in this one. But in the end, it was the New Japan talent who picked up the victory here, as we got Taguchi tapping out Way with the ankle lock. My bad. It was Sasaki who stood out between the outsiders here, as he had a little exchange post match with Morishima as they started brawling on the outside and had security separate the two after Sasaki refused to shake hands with Taguchi as well. So what did you think about the pre-show matchup here? This was fine. I give it 2.25 stars.
I actually, for whatever reason, when I turned the show on for night 2, this match didn't play, so I didn't watch this. I watched the other match that happened with the other indie Japanese talent or whatever the case is. So I don't really have much to say on this.
You didn't miss anything. Don't worry.
For highlighting some of the indie wrestlers in Japan. Good for them.
You didn't miss anything. Don't worry. Then you had the opening matchup on the main card, the Bullet Club War Dogs being represented by the aforementioned Gato and Taiji Ishimori. Just one night after the Dogpile Steel Cage matchup, they got him being the only member of the team of the War Dogs that were in the cage who had to work. But at least it was a light tag team matchup as they're facing Benton Blah Blah and Mentai Kid. Mentai Kid was a lot of fun in this one, getting the crowd into things. He nearly missed a save with the Mentai Splash. We get Blah Blah who faced the vicious bites of the War Dogs, but it was Taiji Ishimori who picked up the win for the team with the Gato clutch on Blah Blah here to pick up the victory. This match I gave 2 stars. It was actually not as it was actually just slightly less than the pre-show matchup. I didn't expect anything from Taiji after the effort he put in the night before, and it's Gato. So what did you think?
Yeah, I believe Walker Stewart said his name Bulla Bulla. So
Bulla Bulla? My bad.
Hey man, listen.
It's spelled Blah Blah.
Yeah, exactly. But he said Bulla Bulla. So we'll go with what Walker said. But
yeah. Always listen to Walker, not me.
Yeah, we'll with this one, it didn't really do much for me. I'll say that. I'm not too sure what the demographic for their specific style of wrestling is. But it's not for me. Just want to say that.
Fair. To answer Ninja Mortis in the chat, he says, when's the G1? That starts in July. And he says, do we get a returning Carl Fredericks, not Anderson? What do you think about Eddie Thorpe, a.k.a. Carl Fredericks, getting released from WWE this past weekend?
I'll speak on 2 points. The first point, I think it's unfortunate for him to get released. Obviously, he is now out of a job. And he ain't making, the Good Brother's not making any money. And your Good Brother J-News is all about his Good Brothers getting paid. And right now he's got to sit out for the next 30 days. At least he's got some DJing gigs. You know what I'm saying? He's got some DJing gigs lined up out in DC. So, hey, brother, do your thing. Or not DC, in Orlando. Do your thing. Make that money. You know what I'm saying? As to the point where you said, do I see him returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling? I know Clark Connors put it up and he said MD4R. I don't see it that way, but hey, I'm not of the dojo, so he knows best. I defer to 100 proof. So if we're gonna see it, to answer Ninja Mortis' question, he says Fredericks, not Anderson. I think we're gonna see both of them be in the G1. So that's wait.
You think we're gonna get Carl Anderson in the G1?
Both of them, Fredericks and Anderson, both of them.
Thank you. I don't like it a lot. I don't like it. But you might be right. You never know. But yes, you get up next. We got some tag team action as Hontai members Master Wato and Yoshihashi went against the United Empires, Great Okan and Jacob Austin Young. Yoshihashi came in, was getting some offense on both of the United Empire members. Great Okan looked good in the early goings of this one, picking apart Master Wato. JAY, he was looking good using his speed to keep everybody off their game. I like, once again, the commentary team talking about the possibility of JAY impressing the matchmakers enough to get a look for next year's Best of Super Juniors tournament. I like that. That's been like the story of Jacob Austin Young throughout the two shows that we saw here. But in the end, he was the victim of Master Wato hitting the big patented Sintin Kaku German suplex, the delayed German suplex with the bridge. 1, 2, 3, picking up the victory for the Hontai duo. This was a little bit better than the first two matches that we saw on the card here. I gave it 3 stars. I like Yoshihashi. He was working very, very, very sense of urgency in this one to pick things up, and it served as a little preview for the night's main event as well. So what did you think about this tag match?
It was solid, man. First time I recall seeing Yoshihashi tag with Wato in a while. So it didn't look and or feel bad in any way. Still want to see more out of Wato. I'm still wanting to understand and see as to what they're trying to do with Yoshihashi. Being that Goto's the champion, Yoshihashi should not be sitting on the sidelines, man. After the last couple of years that he's had, I feel like Yoshihashi should be involved in the never open weight stuff and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Get him back in that area and all that jazz. So that's a wait and see thing for me. But solid match nonetheless of all the tags.
Yeah, no, but I thought out of all the undercard tag team matches, the next match was the best by far on either show, as we had not New Japan, but Stardom being represented with the Stardom Showcase. You had Stars being represented by Hazuki and Koguma, the FWC, teaming up with Micah to be Fuoku's triple crazy as they face the Neo Genesis Azumi and Starlight Kid, the Wonder of Stardom champion, and Yuna Mizumori from Cosmic Angels. So a couple of different factions from New Japan Pro Wrestling being represented here. Love the exchanges with Starlight Kid and Azumi working together in the early going. The colorful wrestler Mizumori came in. She fought back with some kicks and drop kicks of her own. We get the combo from Azumi and Kid with the double foot stomp and standing moonsault. Micah comes in and plants Azumi in the center with the vertical suplex. Mizumori combined her comeback with Kid and Azumi, hitting a synchronized triple drop kick on Hazuki. Hazuki and Koguma, though, they flew off the top rope to take Mizumori off her game. This led to some dives to the outside from FWC with Micah directing traffic. It came down to Hazuki in the ring with Mizumori. After a couple of exchanges and a close near fall by Mizumori, she was dropped with the signature brainbuster by Hazuki. 1, 2, 3, FWC and Micah Fuoku, triple crazy, picks up the victory in their hometown. Really good stuff from the Stardom crew. They just move so fast. The pace is up there. It always gets the crowd involved. Even though this is a New Japan show, the Joshi wrestling was really the highlight of the undercard on either night of this show. So really got to give it up to all 6 of these ladies here. I gave this one 3 3/4 stars. Some really good stuff. What did you think?
The ladies did what they were supposed to do, man. I kind of figured they were going to take a little bit of the shine away from all the other tag matches and stuff, and they did. So shouts to all the ladies involved. Micah always showing off the power. She'll be taking some time off to heal up an injury I believe that she has with her right arm. Currently, SLK and Azumi, 2 of my favorites to watch on Stardom nowadays, outside of Saya Kamitani, because she's just great.
The best in the game right now. Best in Joshi.
Shouts to all the ladies involved. It was, yeah, man. Like I said, good joint for the ladies. Stardom should obviously have more of these multi-person matches involved in undercards for with New Japan, just to get the ladies a little bit more buzz, and especially now with Mayu gone, they need all the platform help that they can get.
Yeah, sorry, couldn't hear you. My earphones went out.
Okay.
My bad. I had to reconnect it. But yeah, I thought the Stardom showcase. I agree with you though. They need more from Stardom on these especially like the bigger shows, like your Sakura Genesis, your Dominion. They need to do more with like Stardom being involved in these.
Agreed.
Then we got in the chat Dustin who says Azumi needs singles gold. Again, I agree. I think that she is going to be like a future Wonder of Stardom champion at the very least. I just think that they want to give Starlight Kid her run first. I think it would have been too soon in Starlight Kid's run to have her lose that title to Azumi back at All-Star Grand Queendom. So I was glad that Starlight got to keep it because she's a bona fide star as well. Okay. And we're gonna see if Azumi can win some gold against Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa. I think that's actually the semi-main event for Resurgence, not the Never title match.
For whatever reason, I saw the listing with them in the middle of the card.
Yeah, I think today they said it's like a double main event when they were announcing the card for Resurgence.
Gotcha.
So we shall see. We'll see what happens there. Next up, we had El Phantasmo and Boltin Oleg representing Hontai as they went up against the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita and Rocky Romero. We get a follow-up to the war that happened in the previous night between ELP and Takeshita here. They started off the matchup. Takeshita avoided every single move from Phantasmo could think of, even basically dodging, matrixing the sudden death. The pair then moved onto Boltin Oleg as Rocky Romero and Takeshita worked him over, but Boltin Oleg used his power against both men. Romero sought to use his agility to take down Boltin, who then dizzled him with the Boltin shake, and that was one of the better Boltin shakes. He did it for like a good minute, just going back and forth and back and forth. Takeshita would hit a Blue Thunder Bomb on Boltin, but Boltin would isolate after Romero, after ELP and Takeshita took it to the floor. It would be Boltin being left behind with Rocky Romero, and he would put him away with Kamikaze, picking up the victory for Hontai here. This one was much shorter than I thought it would be, but served as a pretty good preview for the matchup between ELP and Takeshita coming up at Resurgence this Friday. I gave this one 3.25 stars. Pretty decent tag team action here. What did you think, J-News?
Agreed, man. I can't say enough about these gentlemen involved in this match. That being of ELP and Takeshita and stuff like that. So definitely looking forward to their match at Resurgence. Oleg Boltin looking strong yet again, another match in a row. Wondering what's going to become of his stay in New Japan. So another wait and see approach for him. And yeah, man, another solid tag match here until we got into the rest of the card.
Yes, and then we started getting some bigger multi-man matches with the next two matches here, as we had the Hontai being represented by Hiroshi Tanahashi and Toriyano, the Bebop tag team, as they teamed with say it for me here, Rota Shinkinsu
Chikuzen.
Chickenson, Chickenson, and Tajiri, my boy. There's a verse, and they teamed up with Yo as well to face in an 10-man tag team matchup. TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Roye Uyowa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Got some nice exchanges between ZSJ and Tajiri here. Rare occasion of the legend going up against the best techer in the biz. The legend calmly and immediately powered out of the Brits' holds and submissions. We get Eagles and Yo. They start firing off on one another before Fujita came in for some assistance. Yano opened up the turnbuckle, aiming to send the junior heavyweights into it, instead receiving the harsh opposition of Hartley Jackson. Chikazin teamed up with Tanahashi for a bit. He started blasting Oyowa with chops, eventually knocking him down with Tanahashi. Jackson splashed heavily into the corner on Tanahashi, but he was eventually taken down as Tajiri hits the famous green mist with the referee distracted. This allowed for Chikazin to come in with a sling blade. Tanahashi followed up with one of his own, and then they finished things off with the high fly flow as the rest of TMDK was held on to on the outside as the Hontai faction picks up the victory in this one here. Pretty fun matchup, pretty good action throughout. Love the exchanges between Tajiri and ZSJ in this one. So some fun action to enjoy here. I gave this one 3.25 stars. What did you think?
Yeah, man, it's always great to see the Japanese buzzsaw in action, man. All those years of watching him while growing up, just watching him on ECW and watching him in the WWE as well. I know that he's been heavily involved in a lot of the training of a lot of the Joshi wrestlers in recent years.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact. So props to the legend that is Tajiri. Chikazin Ryota is the head trainer of the wrestling company that was being spotlighted on this show. That Japanese indie that the other talents that were in the other tag matches were from. So this was his first match in a New Japan ring in over 20 years, as a matter of fact. So that was made to be clear on commentary. He looked good for a man of his age and stature. One of the cleanest sling blades I had seen in a very long time. So props to him on that. But yeah, definitely a fun match to watch and enjoyable. Wasn't anything out of the ordinary there.
Then we got our final goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Bushi, and Tetsuya Naito, and Naito and Bushi's final match as official members of the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster, as they face just 4 guys: Taiji Takamichinoku teaming up with Shota Umino and Tomohiro Ishii representing Hontai. Taiji suffered the brunt. Well, first we got to talk about the entrance here. Oh my God. I have not heard a crowd this loud with Naito chants during the entrance since Tokyo Dome back in 2018 when he came out and faced Kazuchika Okada in the Tokyo Dome for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. They just loved him here in Fukuoka and they wanted to send him out with a bang. We get early on some exchanges between Shota and Shingo following up from the night prior. You get some exchanges with Taichi going at it with Hiromu Takahashi. He dropped him with the dangerous backdrop driver. Naito would come in making the hot tag. And my dude was out here looking good, hitting tornado DDTs. You get Bushi was flying all over the place. We even get a picture perfect Destino. What the fuck is going on? I was like, my man, unleash the Destino. He hit him not once but twice in this one. Both times was picture perfect. We get Bushi taking things to the outside. We get Shingo is left inside with Takamichinoku. He lays him out with the pumping bomber, and then the last of the dragon to pick up the victory for Los Ingobernables de Japón. We get the emotional send off with all four men in the ring, with the crowd cheering them on, celebrating this victory and celebrating one more time as a team, one more time for Los Ingobernables de Japón. Naito looked good despite being T-shirt Naito here, but it was only appropriate that we got T-shirt Naito for his final time in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. They really brought something here, I thought. It brought something a little bit different than what we were usually getting here. I think Hontai were the perfect opposition for them as well, and they went out with a good matchup here. I gave it 3.5 stars. What did you think about LIJ versus Hontai, the final official matches for Tetsuya Naito and Bushi on the New Japan roster?
Yeah, man. Definitely an end of an era. I would say. I sat there yesterday after watching that particular match, and I was like, I was thinking back to 2010, 2012, and I was like, they're all gone. They're all gone. I was like, there's no Shibata, there's no Naito, there's no Okada, Nakamura's been gone, Finn been gone, they're all gone. And it's one of those things where when I sat with it, just from a Big Man Dolls, from a memory standpoint, I thought, hey, we're gonna get one last roll call, and we didn't get a final not for this show specifically. We didn't get a roll call, and it was interesting to know that the last time they did a roll call for LIJ, I didn't know that was going to be the last time we heard it. You know. And not to get it here in the send off and things of that nature was bittersweet, but I understood. Like I said before, Naito just wanted to take this as another day. It was just another day doing business and stuff like that. You could tell how emotional Bushi was during the match at times, and this is all they ever wanted to do, man. And they got to live out their dream, and they were able to do it, and they fought hard for it, and good on them, man. And I appreciate them and all the memories and stuff like that. And Naito just becoming this bigger than life character for New Japan that they needed at the time. And he definitely carried his weight in gold over the years that he was in New Japan, 19 years being part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And yeah, man, just want to give him all the props and all the flowers in the world. And obviously his physical condition isn't what it used to be. And hopefully he rests up and he's able to live a healthy life. And we'll probably see him. He's not retiring. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he's going to freelance.
What do you think we see him next?
I mean, if history says anything, to be quite honest, we're probably going to see him in Noah. At this point, not to say
I was
that
thinking the same thing. I think he goes to he does freelancing for Noah, All Japan before, like, maybe in a year he returns to New Japan.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see him do some bits and pieces here and there. I don't expect him to travel internationally at all. So I don't expect to see that, but definitely some spots with All Japan and Noah. Maybe we'll see. Maybe he dips his head into DDT. I don't know, but we'll see. But definitely an end of an era there. And Bushi, man, they talked about Bushi and how Bushi came over from the All Japan Young Boy system and stuff like that. Biggest loan ever, 13 years after the fact. But Bushi was definitely a stalwart in the junior division, man. I think he only won the title once. And he's definitely one of those guys that was always relied upon, and he was always there, man, and they can count on him. And now that that his tenure in New Japan is done, I believe he's also going to be doing freelance work himself. So we'll probably see him definitely make a return to All Japan and things of that nature, where he got his start and all that. and we'll see how it all breaks down. But definitely one of those moments in recent New Japan history where I can say to myself, "Damn, I didn't see this coming," and gotta be grateful for the memories, man. Just gotta be grateful for the memories.
I agree with Big Man Does. I actually said this earlier on In the Weeds on Fightful. I was like, Naito versus Ozawa it's probably going to be a huge draw for Noah if they do bring in Naito in immediately. That would be the matchup that I would run because they could sell out some arenas in Japan with that match.
I don't disagree because the Noah fan base hates Kiyomiya. So at this point, Kaito get no love right now. Get no love.
Nope. They hated him in New Japan. They hate him in Noah. Kaito moving down the card.
They're definitely moving him down the card, and he's been humbled quite a bit, man, since that whole interaction with Okada, man. It's just been different for Kaito Kiyomiya. But I also want to say this: over the weekend, Ozawa was blessed by the one and only, the legend himself, Masahiro Chono. They are once you get that Chono blessing, man, you off to the races at the end of the day. So Ozawa's man right now. So keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him.
That's true. Big Man Dog says they booed Kenta when he stopped Ozawa's dance. Yes, see? That's how much they love Ozawa. They love Ozawa. Dustin says, Kaito, please come to New Japan. Noah don't want you to succeed. If he's ready to start from the bottom, basically, in New Japan, then yeah, for sure. Come on over.
So are you saying that Kaito would have to be a young lion? Is that what you're saying?
No, not like bottom, but I mean, you're not gonna come in and be like a top star in New Japan. You gotta work your way up that ladder, basically.
So you're saying they gotta treat him like Shooter. So this is what you're saying. They gotta treat him like Shooter.
Yes. He's got to reestablish himself, regain the trust of the fans.
Gotcha.
But that led into our semi-main event on night 2 as we had Yota Tsuji defending the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship against Yuya Uemura. I think out of all the matches on either night of the Wrestling Dontaku, this is the one that I thought had the strongest psychology to it because it was very much the story that they've been kind of building up in the lead up to this matchup, which was all about their previous match in the G1 Climax tournament where Uemura hits a frog splash. Bray has a bicep tear that keeps him out of action, and that was really the focus of Tsuji's work throughout this matchup. Going after the right arm, he would have different type of arm bar submissions throughout. Firmly in control, Tsuji moved from Uemura's arm to his torso. Uemura stunned Tsuji with a back body drop, and then Tsuji sent Uemura falling to the outside with a Hurricane Rana, and then followed up with a Tope Suicida, showing his agility. Unresponsive in the corner, Uemura suffered a splash from Tsuji in the corner, yet he turned it around by working over the legs of Tsuji. And I love how the commentary team, especially Chris Charlton, mentioned how, this is the battle of the sun versus the moon. So it's very appropriate that you have Tsuji going after the arm. Uemura was going after the legs of Tsuji. He worked him over. He got him locked in a figure 4 deathlock. Then we had Tsuji powering up. He gets a Nelson lock at one point before Uemura had him back and gave Tsuji a reverse Canadian destroyer. Uemura aimed for that big frog splash that he hit in the G1, but he landed flat, once again favoring his arm. Tsuji would wrench at the arm some more until a series of suplexes nearly took out Tsuji, as did a backbreaker. He finally would hit that big frog splash, but he was showing the ailment of the arm once again and was unable to get the 2 count. Uemura was desperately trying to hit that deadbolt suplex, and I love the desperation and the sense of urgency that he had for it. He tried it multiple times. Right at the end, he's able to hit it, but he's not able to bridge because of the damage done to the arm, and that would cost him. let go of the bridge. It took him so long to recover and get back to his feet. By the time he got back to his feet and turned around, he was hit with the Gene Blaster. 1, 2, 3. Yota Tsuji retains the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship in what I thought was a great matchup. It was very sublime with the selling, with the sense of urgency, with the desperation that both guys had throughout, with the submission work, with the mat work that they were going back and forth with. I thought this was a strong inclusion into their long chapter of their rivalry that started as young lions. Post-match, Uemura baited Tsuji his respect and departed. We then get the rest of Los Ingonables de Japón come down to the ring with Tsuji kneeling in the spot Naito used to. Naito and Bushi, posing, and Hiromu and Shingo posing with Tsuji in celebration. Then we get the subtle kind of departure of Naito and Bushi with the motion visible on both of their faces, the crowd chanting both men's name. Tsuji beds them farewell, says that LIJ might be done for now, but the spirit of Los Ingonables de Japón stays here with them. With both Hiromu and Shingo still in the ring, Tsuji then issues his challenge. And just like what he did with Uemura at Sakura Genesis, where he's calling out Uemura right as Uemura is already coming down to the ring, his next challenger, his next rival, his career rival. He said his career rivals is Uemura, he's a great rival, and Gabe Kidd, he's another great rival. So he called him out to the ring. Gabe greeted him, told him congratulations on the win, that he beat Uemura tonight, but he couldn't beat him back in February in Osaka. So how about they run it back June 15th, Dominion, IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Tsuji agrees, so it's on. The rematch of the double knockout, one of the matches of the year so far this year between Kid and Tsuji. We get a round 2 in 2025 for the Global Championship at Dominion. Great stuff here. I love like I said before, Chris Charlton taking Tsuji's kneeling in the Naito position as a figurative passing of the torch. That's why I think if they're not going to continue LIJ, they're going to have Tsuji start his own faction. We get Tsuji getting a farewell with Hiromu and Shingo, kind of saying words, not doing the LIJ pose with the fist bump. But man, a lot of great stuff in the post match, a lot of great stuff in this matchup. I give the match itself 4.25 stars. I thought these two guys went out there and had a great semi-main event matchup. But the post match with the LIJ kind of goodbye, plus with Gabe Kidd coming out for the challenge, I thought that would be like the main talking point coming out of this stuff. So I thought that it was a 4.5 star post match to go along with a 4.25 matchup. J-News, what did you think about Tsuji versus Uemura and everything that went down post match?
So, for lack of a better term, I thought the match was fantastic. I could tell that they literally sat with each other and went over what they wanted to do in this match. And it was one of those things where it's like, we've got to come out strong in this thing or else we're letting everybody down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's do our best to tell a story in this ring and make sure we show off the skills that we have learned throughout the years, not only in the dojo, but on our respective excursions and up to where we are now. And I definitely saw all the building blocks. I definitely saw where Uemura is now as an in-ring performer. So crisp, so tight. Tsuji is Tsuji, man. He's so cool. Tsuji is so cool. You know what I'm saying? He's so cool. But it's always cool to see Tsuji not have to be the high impact guy. That Tsuji can take his wrestling his in-ring ability to another level. They can get technical, or they can go into a battle of submissions and things of that nature. They can work over body parts and tell the story. Uemura's selling was so top notch in that match. I said to myself, wow, this kid either watched a lot of tape before he got to this match, or he knew like I said, they sat down and they said to each other, we got to go all out with the psychology of this match to tell that story.
Yeah.
And they did fantastic work, man. Props to these two guys that, I've said this before for many times. I'll keep on saying it until they retire. They hold a special place in my heart because that class of young lions from the pandemic stayed in that class of young lions longer than they had to due to circumstances. But we got to see those guys really, really grow into their own in the black trunks and now away from it, and to see just how different they are, but just how compelling they've become as performers for New Japan Pro Wrestling is a great thing to see. So shouts to Big Tsuji, shouts to Uemura. And yeah, I agree with you too, man. I think this is probably going to be the opportunity for Big Tsuji to create his own faction. Like I said, I was a little bit, it was a bittersweet moment for me when Naito and Bushi and Shingo came back down. I thought they were going to do one final roll call and they didn't. And it all dissipated away. There was no fist bump and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, all right, I guess this is it. And then we got Gabe coming down. Gabe Kidd, man, I can't say anything more than what his theme song says, man. He's war ready. He's just war ready at the end of the day. And to see this rematch coming at Dominion, we're probably going to get another great one. And
new champ. I'm calling it now. New champ.
I said the same thing after watching the post match yesterday. I landed in the same boat. I forget who said it earlier in the chat that this is Gabe's match to win in Dominion, and they're probably going to have Tsuji win the G1, and Tsuji will go on to Tokyo Dome. That
was my prediction in the preview. I said that. I was like, Tsuji's got to lose this title to win the G1.
Yeah, so it makes all the sense in the world as to whoever's going to be the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion by the time that Tsuji gets to Wrestle Kingdom. If it's Goto, great. If it's not, then depending on who it is, we'll get there. But I think it'll be a bigger deal if it is Goto, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all breaks down, man. But great way to end the match and get away from everything, and then the main event. We'll have some words there.
So the main event was Hirooki Goto defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the youngest man to challenge for the title, 22-year-old Callum Newman of United Empire. Goto started off strong, but Newman was able to come back. He hits a big plancha to the outside. He followed up with some slingshots into the steel barricades and some kicks to the back, hitting a substantial amount of vertical drop from the top rope. Goto worked over the shoulders and the neck of Newman, kind of what they were doing on the preview tags ahead of the matchup. We get Newman reach high air with an impressive drop kick and then a tope con hilo to the champion. A quick battle of wits and strategy led to simultaneous DDT on Goto, and then Ushigoroshi on Callum. We get Goto kept providing some forearms and some big elbows, with Newman basically daring him to hit him harder. He puts his arms behind his back and then spits in Goto's face, trying to get that fire, that determination, that intensity from Goto. For that, Goto laid him out onto the mat. We get GTR nearly ending the matchup. Despite Goto's control of the match, he had issues putting the challenger away. We saw some fire, some intensity from Callum. He hits a big Os Cutter 2.0 on the apron to slow the momentum of Goto. He hits another one in the ring for a near fall. Goto, though, would come back. He left Newman weak, the neck and the shoulders. It was like pure domination by Goto. This was more like you expect like these main event matches to go 50-50, but this was more like a 70-30 matchup for Goto, where he was really in control for most of the matchup. But that just put the focus on Newman fighting from underneath with his selling and the selling of the neck and the shoulders, and kept fighting. And every time he would have this comeback and his whole spots, it meant something. He hits a big shock rainmaker out of nowhere in this one, which really got the crowd so into this. This is where they really picked up to third gear, as he almost got the 3 count with that, kicking out as Goto remained relentless. We get another Os Cutter 2.0 that gets another close near fall. Newman flipped and dropped. He was dropped with a Rainmaker from Goto, who said in the post-match, he was like, I've been hit with that Rainmaker a lot more times than Newman, so I know how to hit it more. And it should be noted, commentary noted, that Newman was the last man to be hit with the Rainmaker in a New Japan ring, which was an excellent callback in the matchup. Goto was exchanging forearms and headbutts with Newman. He knocks him silly with a headbutt right to the chin. He tries to finish him up with Shoten Kai, but Newman was still able to kick out, not saying that you needed more than that to put him away. He hits him with one GTR, then he crosses the arm behind his back, the hammerlock GTR. 1, 2, 3. Hirooki Goto, it retains the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in an excellent matchup here. Callum Newman with the match of his career here at 22 years old, the best match of his career. And Hirooki Goto continues to prove himself as the very best male world champion in pro wrestling today. Very well done with this one. It felt worthy of the main event spot. And then post-match, we get a preview of what's next. As first, we get Zack Sabre Jr. coming down to the ring, talking about his previous victories, talking about Goto beating him for the world title, and now he wants his rematch coming up at Resurgence, and Goto accepts the challenge. But they're not done there, as Shingo Takagi says that he has to interrupt. He says that he has lost. He's lost so many different times. He's lost championship gold. Now he's lost his crew. He feels like he's at the bottom, but that just makes him hungrier to get back to the top because his view of the top is clearer from the bottom. But he says that Zack was the man who beat him for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship just last year, so he can have first dibs, but he wants a matchup with the winner of their main event at Resurgence. So it looks like we're getting Shingo Takagi challenging for the title that he made famous at Dominion on June 15th, as he will face the winner of Goto versus Zack at Resurgence this Friday. Like I said, excellent matchup, terrific performance by Callum Newman, but another stellar performance by Goto. I feel like the only kind of mark out of his 5 defenses, which is almost a record already for him, going on 6 this Friday. He's going on 7 if he gets past that at Dominion against Shingo. He's putting up records as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. That's why I said we need to have a discussion. Is he the best IWGP World Heavyweight Champion? After this matchup here with a inexperienced Callum Newman and pulling out another great matchup, I'm leaning towards yes. And when you look at the business wise, you have to say it's a yes. Excellent matchup here. I give it 4 1/4 stars. What did you think, J-News?
I thought that this particular match was a star-making match for young Callum Newman. Hirooki Goto is who he is right now in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And for Callum Newman to put up the kind of match that he did against Hirooki Goto and leave it all out there, man. He hit Goto with his best shot every single time, and he couldn't put him away quite the way he wanted to. But that one moment in the match, man, when Callum kicked out of the driver that Goto does, the Saitoken, I think it's called.
Shoten Kai, yeah.
There you go, Shoten Kai. When he kicked out of Shoten Kai, son, I was like, whoa, they let him do that? That's crazy. I was like, okay, now they're trying to put the kid on the map at the end of the day. That's what I thought right off that particular moment. No doubt he got beat a couple of steps later and whatnot, which is fine, right? But having to do it with the hammerlock GTR instead of a regular GTR, it's like Hirooki Goto also needed to pull out all the stops in order to beat this kid. So that's why I think that this was a star-making moment for Callum Newman. Him being able to be to show his fighting spirit, do what people do best when it comes to strong style matches and things of that nature, New Japan style, and just basically thrust himself into the stratosphere of I don't know, mid card main event scene as a singles wrestler for New Japan in one match it's a big feat, man. And I think he accomplished that with what he did. Like I said at the beginning of the recording, man, I'm super proud of him. I sometimes know or can see when folks do great under pressure. This was thrust upon him 2 weeks ago. And for him to come out and deliver the way that he did in this match just says a lot about his ability and what his mindset is and what he's going to be able to do in the future. So shouts to Callum Newman for this great match with Hirooki Goto. To comment off of what you said, does this make Hirooki Goto the best IWGP World Heavyweight Champion to date? For me, not yet. I say, and I don't say that because I'm hating. I'm not hating. We're part of. I'm down with the Goto Revolution at the end of the day. Until Goto defeats Shingo, he ain't there yet. I need to see
you're
that.
Saying after Dominion, he's there.
After Dominion, he's there. After Dominion, he's there. I need to see that match. I need to see the crowd rise, rise again. And then if it all ends up where Goto wins and he defeats my favorite, who I think is the best IWGP World Heavyweight Champion of all time, if he defeats Shingo, I'll give it to Goto. Because Goto is here for a good time and not for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember that.
This is his first and his last reign as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but he's making it count. He's making it count.
He's definitely making it count. And if he takes this into Wrestle Kingdom, I'll be floored, and then secondarily, it's just deserved at the end of the day for what the amount of work he's put in for New Japan. So definitely looking forward to his match against Zack at Resurgence. I'm sure they'll do their best to show out and give a good show to the people. I really don't expect Zack to win. I expect Goto to retain at Resurgence, and then I definitely want to see Goto go 1-on-1 against the Dragon, Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, that's a big matchup. His Dominion's looking stacked with the three big matchups with potentially Goto and Shingo for the IWGP Championship, Gabe and Tsuji 2 for the global title, and then the dog collar matchup with Finlay and Evil. That's a big top three matches to have at Dominion. This is looking like it might be one of the better Dominion shows of the last couple of years.
For sure.
And probably if there's, I don't know if they're going to do it again this year, but we'll probably get the Best of Super Juniors winner versus the IWGP champion.
I could definitely see that happening. I can't I'll say this in advance. I can't call it as to who's going to win the Best of Super Juniors right now, but I'm sure we'll get a terrific match because Despy's still the champ, and Despy don't do no wrong right now. So
yeah. Say says, Goto is probably the best IWGP men's champ. He's been fantastic. Let us know in the chat what you think. Do you think Goto's already got it or not? And of course, final call for super chat donations. Let us know your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10. What did you give night 2 of Wrestling Dontaku 2025? For me, NJ-News for night 2 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7.5 for night 2.
I stood even. I gave it an 8 just because, and this isn't me being objective. This is me completely being biased, folks. This is legit. It's me completely being biased at the end of the day. But I think my love for Callum Newman, the rose-colored glasses, they're on at this point. But I think he did terrific, and Goto doing what he did in this match, it stands out to me so much, that particular matchup. Also have to definitely give it to Uemura and Big Tsuji, man, because from where those guys were to where they've come, and all the lessons and in-ring work that Uemura worked on with Natty at the new dungeon in Florida, you can see how tight. Man, listen, man, it's always cool to see people grow and just become and evolve and be better versions of themselves. So those two matches really pulled it out for me in that regard. And nothing outside of the matches that involved the talent from the other Japanese indie. I don't think anybody did any bad work here either. So that's why I evened it out at 8 as well.
And who was your MVP for the show?
MVP for the show. I'll give it to the champ. I'll give it to Goto. Tremendous work. Co-MVP would be his dance partner for me, just because of the love I got for Callum Newman. So there's that. Yeah,
I'm actually going to give it to Callum Newman and a co-MVP for Los Ingonables de Japón. Goodbye, old friend. And LVP for the show, I will give it to Mentai Kid.
I would give it to Bulla Bulla. That's just me. But yeah,
also
there's that.
Also fair. We gave it to the tag team. And then match of the night, I will give it to the main event, Hirooki Goto versus Callum Newman.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, match of the night was the main event.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us live. Appreciate all the love and conversation in the chat. And of course, to my tag team partner here, J-News. J-News, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media when they might see you again.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at JohnLYFNMG. You can follow me on Instagram _JONJY. You can catch me right here on True Heel Heat, the podcast, this coming Wednesday as we preview Resurgence. And then I believe we will have our Best of Super Juniors preview, pre-record come out later in the week. So stay tuned for that, folks, as well. And you can also catch me every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Hit the Ropes podcast with the lovely Dolores. And that's all I got for you guys there.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. Great way to support us when we are not live here. And you get some exclusive content as well. Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like the True Hill Heat flagship podcast from this past weekend, talking all about the WWE releases. Check out our Dark Side of the Ring superstar Billy Graham review that we did on Friday, and we will have our Dark Side of the Ring hot stuff Eddie Gilbert review later this week. And of course, appreciate y'all for all the support in the chat. Appreciate all the love. Let us know in the comments down below, if you're watching us on demand, what you thought about the 2 nights of NJPW Wrestling Dontaku there. But for J-News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our NJPW Wrestling Dontaku 2025 review. We are signing off until next time.